was louder than thunder, but I could feel like it was just a large boom where the building kind of shook.
The possible connection between two explosions in New York and New Jersey, and what city officials are warning residents about this morning.
Plus, what Iowa U.S. Senators Joni Ernst and Chuck Grassley are saying after touring the VA facility in Iowa City.
Live from WQAD, this is News 8's Good Morning Quad Cities.
Good morning and welcome. It is Monday, September 19th. I'm Julie Sis.
And I'm Jonathan Ketz. Thanks for joining us. If you were outside this weekend, weather was perfect.
Yeah.
Was that? You said you had a couple of soccer games yesterday?
We had 4 soccer games yesterday. Wonderful weather, though. There were so many events taking place outside. And, you know, this time of year, you never know if it's going to be rainy or beautiful like it was.
You know, guys, and everything ended well, too, because I was out in a boat with some friends, a pontoon boat on the Mississippi River. Jim Mertens was there. We were having a great time. And then they said, throw the anchor overboard. What was I to do? I didn't throw the news anchor overboard. I will have everyone know. Do not start that rumor. But we had a great time this weekend. Also want to talk about temperatures because low to mid 80s across the board yesterday. I think we still got those planned for today. Mid to high 50s outside now, so a nice start to the morning. In fact, we're going to be mostly clear. The storm tracker is quiet. Don't expect any thunderstorms until probably after dinner time tonight. Here's what you need to know about our Monday. Nice start, 50s and 60s, no rain in sight, at least for the first part of our day. It's late afternoon and evening that we could have a bumpy road ahead with thunderstorms. We'll talk more about the potential for those coming up, guys, at 6:02.
Eric, thank you. New this morning, New Jersey investigators continue to investigate near a scene where a possible bomb was found early this morning. Police say 2 men called 911 saying they saw wires and a pipe coming out of a package. Union County Bomb Squad's robotic team says that the package was found under a train trestle. Investigators found 5 devices in a backpack near the scene, but none of them were cell phones or electronic timing devices. It comes after a trash can bomb went off Saturday just an hour away in a seaside park. No one was hurt in that incident.
Investigators are questioning 5 people in connection with this weekend's explosion in the heart of New York. We have new details on Good Morning Quad Cities. Police stopped a vehicle of interest late last night that may be connected to the bombings. Terror investigators say that explosion in Seaside, New Jersey and the one in New York have similarities in the devices that exploded. Both explosions reportedly were set off by cell phones.
The word is that both devices are pressure cookers, that they were certainly similar in construct.
The evidence we've collected is being taken to our lab at Quantico for review, and we are following every viable lead as we continue to work jointly with the NYPD.
Investigators say the weekend bombs in both New Jersey and New York are pointing to signs of a possible terror cell in those states. They say they now have leads on specific people that may be involved.
ISIS has claimed responsibility for the stabbing rampage that took place at a Minnesota mall on Saturday. 9 people were stabbed inside of the Crossroads Mall in St. Cloud, about 70 miles outside of Minneapolis. Police say Ahmed Adan shouted Allah during the attack. Adan was shot and killed by an off-duty police officer. Investigators say they are looking into seeing if the explosions in New York and New Jersey are possibly connected to the stabbing rampage.
Right now, we don't have any evidence to suggest that they were connected in any way. And I'm hopeful that once we're able to figure out what the motivation was for our attacker here, we'll be able to say again definitively what, if any, connection there might be.
The 9 victims are all recovering. Federal investigators are treating this as a potential act of terrorism.
3 people are recovering this morning after a car accident yesterday afternoon. That crash happened around 3 on 16th Street and 38th Avenue. Police say a truck hit a retaining wall, which caused it to flip over and then roll several times into the parking lot of Homebound Healthcare. No word on the condition of the people involved in that crash this morning. 1 person is dead after a hit and run in Joe Daviess County Saturday night. It happened around 10:30 in rural Scales Mound. The sheriff's office says a driver hit a parked car and a person who was standing outside of the vehicle. That person, Alex Bulk, later died at the hospital. Deputies have a vehicle in custody and are currently speaking to a person of interest. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Department or Crime Stoppers. Well, after months of back and forth talk on what to do with the lodge, the plan is for crews to tear it down.
That work begins today, but a plan for developing that land still not set. News 8's Jared Ransom joins now live in Bettendorf with a closer look at the agreement the city made to start demolition now. Jared.
Yeah, John, Julie, good morning. Yeah, this mammoth piece of equipment that's standing behind me, it's not running right now, but in just a few hours it will, as crews begin the demolition process and the work to clear out this entire piece of land here at the lodge. Now, it was about this time last year the lodge shut down for good, and in December, Russell Construction actually acquired the property with plans for redevelopment. But the problem in this entire process is that there isn't a set plan for what's going to go on this land, which has brought in a lot of concerns from Bettendorf city leaders. Now, even with those issues, council members agreed last month to a 10-year tax rebate plan for redevelopment that is still in the works. Now, it was a close vote 4-3, with supporters saying demolition needs to happen now in order to move forward with a plan with Russell.
This is the incentive to get it built rather than waiting 10, 20 years for it to get built. It gets built now, and in 10 years we have that added value because of the erection of the buildings and the increase in value to that spot.
Now, Bettendorf city leaders will have the strongest say in what actually goes on the lodge property once everything's cleared off, and then Russell will sign off on that agreement. But first comes the demolition process here right behind me that will happen in just a few hours. We'll send it back to you.
Jared, thank you. A private ceremony will take place at the lodge this afternoon at 1 to commemorate the history of the lodge, followed by crews starting that demolition. Well, a housing development company is requesting Rock Island leaders to approve 2 TIF projects for the area. Millennia Housing wants to invest nearly $66 million in the purchase and the renovations of Century Woods and Heather Ridge apartment complexes. They say they need the TIF district established in order to secure financing for the projects. The plan is to renovate the total of the 400 rental homes to enhance living arrangements for those in the area. They say they would also consider looking at Maple Ridge apartments to renovate as well. Rock Island officials will talk about the plans tonight starting at 6:30. Also tonight, Rock Island leaders will consider the resignation of City Manager Thomas Thomas. In his letter, Thomas says after 5 years of service to the city, it's time to pursue other opportunities. Mayor Dennis Pauly says the city will consider the resignation at a city council meeting today. Thomas's resignation comes on the heels of Walmart's deal that fell through earlier on this month.
Iowa Congressman Dave Loebsack will be in Davenport today to tour the new Veterans Affairs Quad City Community Resource Center. That new center opened earlier this year and provides service to veterans who are homeless or who are at risk of homelessness. Right now, the VA's Homeless Outreach Center and outpatient services used to operate out of offices in Rock Island. Congressman Loebsack's tour will kick off this afternoon at 2. 2 Iowa senators are questioning the transparency of the Veterans Affairs system, both in the state and nationwide. U.S. Senators Charles Grassley and Joni Ernst took a tour of the VA Medical Center in Iowa City Friday. They're asking more questions after Davenport Marine Brandon Ketchum took his own life. His family says that he was turned away from the facility. There's also concern over the shortage of beds in the VA system.
So we're talking about a national culture problem that we have in the VA that seems to not want to listen to what's wrong.
Both senators are waiting on a report into Ketchum's death to figure out what can be done differently at VA hospitals.
Still to come right here on Good Morning Quad Cities. Time to talk business, says Phil Kaslowitz will join us to tell us what to expect from the markets this week.
And what local farmers are saying about a drop in land value prices before this year's harvest.
And after we get some sunshine and nice temperatures for today, some thunderstorms could roam the skies tonight. Severe weather is a possibility. We're leading the way with accurate weather coverage. Next, it's 10 after 6.
You're watching Good Morning Quad Cities on WQAD News 8 with Jonathan Katz and Julie Sisk.